Well, I'm really glad you mentioned that because what we're talking about here, Dennis, is we're talking about the difference. This is really important between um, empathy and identification. Identification is what you just talked about. You talked about the idea that you did this, so you're worried maybe your daughter's doing this. Right. And so empathy is actually being able to see your child for who they are. Identification is not the same as empathy. When we're looking at our children through the lens of what we went through, no doubt our story was quite different than their story. So, we shouldn't presume anything and we should let them tell us what they want to tell us. And also, I think that there's a lot to be said at the front end, and this often helps calm and comfort parents and young adults. I'm calling them young adults aspirationally, but the other part is the mental health center at the university. Let me tell you something about that mental health center. Almost all universities these days, I do believe, have some kind of orientating program for incoming freshmen, so that there's some kind of like drop-in meeting that they can participate in, that if they're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, that they have a way to reach out. And knowing your child is also really important. If your child has had pre-existing mental health issues or some other kind of issue, you may want to call ahead to the mental health center. You may want to have them set up some initial meetings. You might want to know in advance, when is that meeting? And then you also can talk with staff about, do you ever go and check on someone if a parent is concerned, just so the parents have an idea what's happening. Now, having said that, I should definitely make this point. Young adults in college have privacy. They don't have to share with their parents about their grades and about any number of things. And if you call professors directly, they often won't answer you because it's up to the student to do that. Students can sign forms allowing, I think it's called FERPA. So the FERPA is about academic stuff, and the HIPAA is about medical stuff, I think medical and mental health stuff. So they have to sign forms allowing you to have access to this information. And sometimes that can be really helpful so that you can help support your child in places where they might not feel comfortable telling you things that are going on. Sometimes kids are having academic difficulty, or they're getting hazed by a sorority or fraternity, and they're just not focused on their schoolwork as much. And if they're not careful, they can start deteriorating with their academic work. And this is a sad thing when this happens, and also unnecessary. So if parents can be aware what's happening with the grades, or get the quarter grades, for instance, and they know their kid and are aware that something's up, they might be able to help intervene in some kind of important way. Having said that, back to helicopter parenting. At some point we have to, and this can really be quite an individual difference. Some kids, you just ought to say, I know you're good. You've always been a good student.
Yeah.
Enjoy your time. I look forward to talking more with you about it as you're ready to share different parts with me.